Eva Maydell, member of the Europe Parliament. Hi, Eva, thanks for being here with us in Negocios TV. It's a pleasure.
Hi, thank you for the invitation.
We are talking about the AI. We were talking about these agreements between Amazon and NVIDIA. We want to talk about Europe. Europe often lags behind the US and China in technology innovation. What needs to change to close this gap with China and the United States?
Well, you know, this is something that we've been talking for more than 10 years. But I think for Europe, it's important that we have our own way of doing things. And it's more important for us not necessarily just to compete, but to do things right. And so it's easy to say, how can we match the funding, which, by the way, we can never match? How can we match the political system of China, which we don't even want to match in Europe? So Europe has its own unique way to go forward, but we have to be more consistent. We need more clarity in our directions, and we need to be a little bit faster. What I mean is that if we cannot match the big spendings that the US or the Saudis are putting into this technology, we have to strengthen our strengths. And our strengths are typically in our traditional industry. So how do we apply artificial intelligence in our industry? I think this is where we need to focus in order to continue being in the race and be competitive.
Talking about Europe, I would like to ask you about the European countries. Which country is winning this digital race and which one is falling behind?
Well, I think the strength of Europe is that we have a market and we operate across 27 member states and we have 450 million citizens. So I would look at this differently. I would look at where our strength is. One of the most important countries worldwide, not just in Europe, is ASML, and it's based in the Netherlands. We have few companies such as Mistral AI or Domos or Aleph Alpha operating between Spain, Italy, Germany, and France that are very far ahead in developing large language models. We have a number of successful applications for customers coming from the Scandinavian countries, such as Spotify or Revolut or Lovable, the most new coding platform. We have extremely good companies coming from my own country, Bulgaria, for example, that operate in space, such as Endurosat, or in sky and delivery, such as Dronamics. So Europe is a mixture of everything that has to offer. We have IMAC, the most important company that helps us design the most advanced chips, that situated design company that and platform that's situated in Belgium. So I think we need to look at it as holistic and have a holistic approach of where are all those strengths. So I just named a number of countries that are leaders in different areas, in different spheres in Europe.
And Eva, can Europe be an ethical leader in AI without falling behind technologically?
We can, but we have to invest in AI, and we have to make sure that the industry applies AI in its operations. And what we've noticed in the past couple of months and in the past 2 years is that, yes, there are huge investments in large language models in the United States and elsewhere. But then when it comes to the application of these models, this is where their application and embedding them in the actual businesses is very, very low. And even the companies that are behind the AI systems have started realizing that. So if Europe is to be smart, we're going to make sure that we make the best connections possible between those that have the software power, that have the knowledge and develop AI, and those that have the industrial and business power, and match them together, make them talk to one another, make sure that the applications that are being produced and done are fit for purpose in the industry. And this is why in the very beginning I said we need to find our own way of how to be in the race and how to be an important player in that race.
And do we need more Elon Musk or more bureaucrats. We are talking about Europe. People says we have a lot of bureaucrats. We need more, or we need more people like Elon Musk?
You know, I think what we need is to continue strengthening our strengths. The company that I've mentioned, for example, ASML, is a way more important company worldwide because it provides the lithography behind all the chips being made in TSMC, for example, in Taiwan. So this company is way more important and much older than any of the companies that Elon Musk have. But you probably don't even know the CEO name, right? In Europe, it's less about the personality and it's more about what we bring to the table. And we bring years of experience, of knowledge, and technological advancement. Now it's up to all of us to make sure we can help our economies grow by further strengthening those excellent companies that we have. When it comes to institutions, we have to change the mindset, okay? We need to do things differently. The way we did strategies 5 or 10 years ahead does not work anymore. We need flexibility, we need adaptability, we need swiftness and fastness of taking decisions. And I very much hope that the institutions and the people that work, whether elected or have permanent positions, will understand that times have changed. It's no longer business as usual, but Europe is open for business. And if we are to continue staying open for business, we have to do things differently as institutions.
We have to do the things a little different, and we have to think in the young people. Eva, what message would you like to send to young Europeans about the power of technology to change the future?
Well, you used one word, power. Technology is power nowadays. It's industrial power, it's geopolitical power. So if our next generation wants to be part of the power race and the power game, they have to grasp this technological advancement, but do it with care, with precaution, but with ambition as well and curiosity. We cannot look at those applications just as applications that help us do our homework. No, we have to look at those applications as game-changing for society and our industry. And so there's no time for complacency. It's time for action, curiosity, and delivering. And the next generation can be part of this process, but they have to be willing to be part of it because they would partially shape it.
The last question, Eva, you have the power to change just one thing in European technology policy. What would you do tomorrow? Well,
I would like us as Europe to have executive orders or similar sort of power, which would enable us to very quickly find ways of how to lower electricity prices, which is one of the impediments to our growth. Secondly, make sure that we have a unified capital markets so that capital can flow freely and support the scale-ups that are currently leaving Europe to other countries. And lastly, I will simplify our technological legislation. I think we don't need more rules. I think we need to enable companies to do what they do best, and that is innovate. It is not the institutions that innovate, it's the business that innovates, it's the business that spirals new ideas into action, into products, into services. So we have to be the enablers, and I very much hope that with a little bit more focus and a clear strategy, we can do that. And of course, leadership.
Well, a lot of things to do in Europe. Eva, thanks for being with us here in Negocios TV. It's a pleasure having you here. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.